What's going on, YouTube? This is your humble host, Mr. Micro Mike, and welcome to the Round Table. This is my very first time hosting this bad boy, and I am super excited. So that said, man, we're going to get straight into announcing who is here. So, folks, for my first guy, he is the man, the reason why aliens do not invade this Earth. He is also known as the Great One, 313 JMO. What up, though, JMO?
Well, thank you for that intro. What's good, everybody? How y'all doing out there, man? I ain't know I was keeping the aliens at bay, man. That's how I do it, man. They would have took over if I wasn't talking positively about the Lions, man. Y'all already know.
Hey, man, we appreciate it. We like this planet to be safe, and thanks to you, it is. The next man that is up with us is his voice is so perfect he makes onions cry. What up, though, Troxel?
What up, dog, everybody?
I'm loving these intros, bro.
Hey, man. Hey, he's got the great voice, and it's just perfect, man. But the next and the final person currently right now who is on this panel is the man who speaks so much facts, and he knows everything. He can make a egg unscramble. What up, though, Luke G?
What up, though? Salute everybody. Let's go, Phil G's.
All right, man. So before we get into it, let's just say everybody what's up here. Troxel, do you want to go ahead and announce the attendance to everybody in the chat?
Yeah, we got George Morgan in the building. We got Max Palmer in the building. Top Tier in the building. Lions Lee in the building. Book Spray in the building. Marcel Edwards in the building, Boo in the building, Raymond the New Age in the building, James Willis in the building, Beast Mode in the building, JGB in the building, Yu-Gi-Oh! Rex in the building, Combat Sack in the building, J Third in the building, Ed Whiting in the building, Scott Young in the building, Marcel Edwards.
What's up, G Berry and Beast Mode and Marcel Edwards and Bugs Spray. How y'all doing, man?
We got Blue and Silver Phantom in the building as well. Jack Bain is in the building. And that's about it. All right. What's up, everybody?
Make sure you guys like the video so we can get it out to everybody out there. And absolutely, Mike, man. I don't know if you know how to do it, but you probably don't know how to give out wrenches, man.
Hey, man, I'm a wrench myself in my head. Sometimes not everything is working, and it's got to get screwed up a little bit. So, fellas, everyone, thank you for the round table and joining me on my channel. I am very humble about this opportunity to go ahead and speak to you tonight. I will not be going to bed in 32 minutes prior to belief in the chat. I will be up the whole time because that's what I got to do. And before we get into the topics, I want to address something that obviously everybody knows that's been going on when it comes to the DSA and a lot of stuff that's taken place in drama. Folks, we talked a lot when it comes to the DSA, and I decided to write what we believe and what we are going to do going forward and how much better we're going to give you guys a product. And I want to share how all of us members feel about everything that's taking place and how committed we are. So that said, fellow DSA subscribers, this is for you. We as the Detroit Sports Alliance have argued over minute details. We have specific beliefs and facts to our own view. We nearly collapsed into a black hole of obscurity. We on occasions failed to give you, the viewer, the absolute top quality show that you all desirably deserve. We have been tested as a group as of late. We nearly fell into death nail towards the brink of collapse. Detroit Sports Alliance members took a blitz from every angle this last couple of weeks. We were not won nearly. We nearly ended. We, though, did not fall. We stood up in the face of destruction and said, no, we shall not fall. A house divided cannot stand.
I love the hype video you got going, Mike.
Teamwork is the ability to work towards a common vision, the ability to direct individual accomplishments toward organizational objectives. It is a fuel that allows the common people to attain uncommon results. As one unit, when the bullets were fired at us, we became stronger than we ever have been as of right now. We are now resilient than ever before, and we will strive to complete success. We shall put you, the viewer, first on all categories related to Detroit sports and give you the greatest quality content on YouTube. People have been asking me how you define leadership and that the DSA needs leadership. I shall answer this question for you, direct and precise. In the Army, leadership is defined as an acronym. L for loyalty, loyalty to your country. In this case, we shall be loyal to you, the viewer. We shall be loyal to ourselves, a group as a whole. D, duty. Duty to your constituents. Make sure at all costs we are absolute best and bring facts to you, the DSA members, viewers alike. R for respect. We respect the fellow members. We respect each other's opinions. And most importantly, we respect you as an audience. S for selfless service. We are committed to serve you, the viewer, and bring Detroit sports back into the light of glory it so rightfully deserves. H is for honor. Honor each other. Honor facts. Honor the viewers. I for integrity. We shall give you all facts to the best of our ability and do truths self-evident as a whole. And finally, P, that is personal courage. I can promise you that I will tell you whether it is favorable or not. The facts that is given is true to the way I see it. Folks, we are dedicated to this movement. We're not going to get pushed around. The fans deserve positive news, as we've been dealing with for years, the negative due to the media. We came as one unit to destroy the false narrative that's been taking place. And we're going to give you the best quality content that you need and deserve. Thanks, fellas.
Hashtag facts.
Hashtag facts.
Hashtag facts. I mean, hey, Mike, man. Hey, if I had to sound,
Hey, I'm going to war with you, Mike.
Clap up.
I'm going to war with you, Mike. Like in the trenches, man.
Hey, man.
As zombie apocalypse hit, Mike the one I'm calling like, yo, Mike, where you at? We got to get together and get this going, man.
Right.
We got to survive out here, man. What you doing, Mike?
Hey, man. You know what, dude? I take this stuff serious. We spend countless hours, and to you guys, the viewers, making a video, it's 5 minutes to you, but literally it could take me 8 hours to do a 30-second video. We are so dedicated to give you the best content possible to the best of our ability, and that's what we do. We understand what is said about us and negative stuff, but we are dedicated to give you facts in the best of our ability, and we're going to do it professional, and we will together defeat the mainstream media.
I mean, and I think that the best thing that you said is the key word is together. Division has never been a good weapon. So, and that's one of the things I strive for. That's why I have a belief that even when people say, "Oh, you won't be able to work with this person, or you won't be able to collab with that person," I try my best to see a different side of them and give them an opportunity, and it's up to them to prove me right or wrong. And so for me, being inclusive is the most important thing. And I think, man, what you said was spot on. I appreciate it, and I love you. I love all the guys in the DSA. I love those guys who have the passion to talk about a team that probably don't even know we here, but they will soon enough. And for the subscribers who rock with us, man. So, you know, y'all guys and ladies and children and young men and women, I mean, y'all the real ones that make it possible for us to be able to do it. And it's the reason why we have to keep stepping our game up and coming with content that you can respect. So to you, I salute. And Mike, man, that was awesome, man.
Hey, man. Well, again, man, I was thinking back last night about my time in Iraq, and my unit, we had a lot of stress. I could tell you that as a truck commander, when I command trucks into combat, we as a unit, we as men, we lived together for a whole year straight, literally bathroom together, ate together, everything. You get angry at each other. You have dysfunction. It's normal. It happens. However, when things happen, when stuff occurs, it doesn't matter how you feel about the next person. You will lay your life down for that individual because you've trained so hard and you care that much. And that's how much I feel about this, folks. You know, I love serving my country, and I love Detroit sports. And what I see with the mainstream media destroying our team single-handedly, doing everything they can to break the city of Detroit down, it really frustrates me. We're a community that's built this country. Detroit is literally the backbone of the United States of America, the Motor City, and I take pride in it. And I truly appreciate everyone that listens to what we have to say and make this thing go forward.
What's up, everybody? We got 28 people in the chat. We got 20 likes, man. Make sure we get that to 28, man. It's a lot of stuff going on with the team right now, so I'm very excited to talk to y'all, man.
Absolutely, man.
Also, Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Luke. Go.
Make sure you send another invite to TA. He's not getting them, so let's make sure we send another one to him because I think it probably got lost.
Doing that right now.
Yeah, right. So we can get him in here too, man.
On to the football, man. Let's get into this football. Mike, do you want me to get it started off? Because I think I want to start it off with that carry on.
Perfect transition. Go ahead, Luke.
Man, listen, people. All right, listen. I don't know if y'all on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you need to be on Twitter just for Kerryon Johnson. Like Kerryon Johnson is quickly, you know what? I'm not even gonna say quickly. Kerryon Johnson is literally, after a few days, become my favorite Lion, man. This dude, this dude is on he's literally on Twitter clapping at fans who are saying stupid stuff to him. And what he's doing is somebody made a comment to him, basically saying, like, as long as you on the Lions, I got a better chance of making the playoff than you. And he was like, but who really got a better chance of making the playoff, me or you? And then the dude responded, and he was like, yo, here I am wanting all this smoke, and that's your comeback. Come on, bro. You got to come better than that. I mean, he's on there clapping back. And I guess the question for me is this to you fellas is, do you have a problem with this? I mean, in general, with Kerryon responding to fans saying stupid stuff to him, and do you have a problem with any athlete who decides to respond to fans saying ridiculous things to him? We're gonna start this off with Travis.
Absolutely not. Everybody knows some of us fans can be off the wall. We talk sometimes out of our rear end. And I'm glad that some of these players, can actually address some of these guys and tell them, like, look, kind of like your quote, Luke, like, do your research, like, don't be no chump, and so for me, I absolutely love it. And I know earlier Jamin was saying, what do you call it? That's some GOAT type stuff. And absolutely, I totally agree. That's some GOAT type stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead, J-Mo, man.
Dude, well, I've always said this about Lions Twitter specifically, like compared to other teams. I've always said this many times when it comes to Slay, Snacks Harrison, and Quandre Diggs. Lions Twitter has been very, very active. That's how Luke, about that response that you found earlier and stuff. That right. With Quandre, like, that literally came from the round table. It got out, and people, they actually respond, and they actually talk. I've talked with Quandre and Slay on Twitter and stuff. So they're very responsive and very, very receptive to some of the fans. That's why I said I love Lions Twitter, because they always are there. And Kerryon, like I said, man, he's approaching GOAT status right now. All they need is, 1,200 yards and help us win a playoff game. He's already there. So, I mean,
facts.
I love what Kerryon did. There's no reason for me to be upset. One, because his comebacks were great, and two, everything he said was making sense, and the fans just trying to, whether it's a Detroit fan or a football fan trying to put Carry On down because he was ragging on the Lakers. End of the day, you put them in their place and let them know what's really going on. And a player like Carry On has much more insight into the football aspects of things, man. Like I said, I love it, man. That's GOAT status, man. Let them know, shut them up until they don't say anything.
I mean, the crazy part about it is when you look at what Carry On said to each person's comment, you know what I'm saying? When you look at each one of those things, the first thing you notice is he's doing it respectfully, but it's real clever. Like he's like one of the dudes, he was like, "Really? That was your comeback? Really?" And I was like, "Bruh," like my man had this whole elaborate thing, and he was like, "Really though? Like that's what you came up with. I'm trying to get this smoke, but you don't want to do this though." And then he told one fan, like, "Who do you think know how this thing worked better, me or you?" And I'm like, bro, he's in rare form. Like I'm not even a social media person, but I literally stay on this man's channel because he always saying something that's funny and true. I'd be like, this dude clowning, and I don't personally have a problem. I personally don't have a problem with anything an athlete say back to a person, especially when they getting ridiculous. Because a lot of these fans are looking for paydays. They're looking to start something so you can push them, and they had the most dramatic fall ever. And now all of a sudden you assaulted them, and it turns to this whole thing, man. But it's one of the things where, like you heard from J-Mo, it reached all the way out to the players themselves, to the pros themselves, to the people we watch and root for themselves. And that is how you want to see our athletes respond to it, man. And I think it's awesome to see. What's your thoughts on it, Mike?
Man, what a great draft pick Carry On was. Whether it be his physical ability and his mental ability, because he just abuses folks, whether it be on Twitter and or on the field. I love it, man. I like this idea of him chirping back because the fans can just make moronic statements such as Matthew Stafford's a horrible quarterback. We should have never drafted him, this, that, and the other. And you have to be these players looking at this, shaking their head. Does a man who is a running back in the NFL, a starter, a soon-to-be probably superstar, know more about football, or some 500-pound man with a beer gut holding a Budweiser know more about football? You answer that for me, man.
I mean that's just crazy. Now listen, TA said he sent you the wrong email, Mike. He says check the chat. You'll see he sent you the correct one. So he realized he sent you the wrong one. So that's probably why he's having some technical difficulty. Again, y'all, Noble Sports Entertainment is planning on joining us. Y'all know that on Tuesdays, he's on father duty and being the best cheerleader he can be for his kids. So, to all the fathers out there, man, salute to you. But man, yeah, I mean, when I first saw this, I was like, yo, Carry On. And I found myself going through the entire thread trying to see who are he clapping back at. And he was clapping back at anybody. He was even clapping back at some fans who was coming in belligerent, from other teams, talking stuff. And he was like, really? What's really going on with this? And he literally was like, yo, at the end of the day, if y'all gonna say something to me stupid, I'm gonna cleverly respond back. I promise you, if he keep this up, he gonna have a future on TV. Because it's funny.
Hey man, but see, no, this is not the first instance though. Carry On's been talking on Twitter even before you was on there, Luke. So he's been doing this for a while. When we drafted him, he, like I said, Carry On, he reminds me of the Darius Slay of the offense, personality wise, just because of the way that he acts, and how goofy he is. And he's been doing this for a while. I remember when Game of Thrones, came out, he was tweeting. And he's always
what up,
talking to
Noble
fans.
Sports?
What up,
In the
Noble?
building.
What's up, man? So he's been doing this for a while, man. He's a pro at this. So I love it, man, because somebody need to tell these fans that they stupid. And
Man,
then
really?
it was so funny when the dude was like, if here go another football player that don't know nothing about sports. He's like, yeah, but you with your Bleacher Report information no more than me. I'm like, okay, carry on. I see you, man. You really do this, man.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
he got that turtle skin, man. So none of this stuff phases him, man. When they came at him with the playoff stuff, he like, yeah, whatever. He like, next. He like, oh, that's all you had? That's all you got, bro?
Man.
Real, man.
Now listen, Mike.
Yo.
You gotta do the intro for the Noble Sports Entertainment, man.
I'm
ready?
I'm doing one right now, man. I'm ready right now. Folks,
All right.
Since I did not get to introduce Noble, he is the next face on Mount Rushmore. Mr. Noble Sports. What's going on, man?
The next face. Shout him out, man. Talk to him, TA. Wait a minute, what happened to TA?
TA! I'm gonna be a face on Mount Rushmore.
Hey, man, TA too busy chilling on Mount Rushmore, though. He ain't worried about us peons out here, bro.
Man, I bet money TA look, he probably laughing. Man.
Hey, man.
He said, I will take gold.
He'll come on when he
yeah,
come on,
I do think Carry On, Edward says Carry On brings personality. Not Lions need that. Well, he definitely brings personality, but to me, he brings a toughness to the team just because of what he plays through and what he plays with. And the way that he plays, he's a physical runner that has a lot of balance and vision and footwork. So we don't see some of the physical parts, but ask Kiko Alonso how physical he is. You know, I can't wait for him to catch more bodies this year. So,
man, I mean, I can put it this way, man. That the one, like you said, when he brought up the Bleacher Report, I was like, did he just hit this? Because people have been critical of the Bleacher Report because they claim anybody can post an article on it, and for him to tell dude like, so you a Bleacher Report person trying to tell me you know more than me, I'm like, bro, you out here really clapping back at people. Like, this is what you doing.
He ain't played around, man. I mean, these guys are tired of it. They're tired of the moronic statement.
I'm just glad Stafford don't have no social medias, because what if he started clapping back at people?
Bruh.
That's what. Hey, that's what it
started get. That's when it get bad. You the quarterback and you the face of the franchise. You can't clap back at people, but it would be hilarious.
He does it via Kelly, man. She don't play around on Twitter either. She claps back for sure.
Yeah, Kelly. He had to tell Kelly.
Oh yeah, Kelly. Kelly, the OG. She been clapping back since a few years ago.
Yeah,
but like I said, even I know Slaying Snacks we going through that thing, but Slaying Snacks on Twitter be responding and they be hilarious and they be funny, man. Especially Slay, man. Slay, Quandre Diggs will respond to anything. So if you a Lions fan and you want to at least have some type of interaction with somebody like Slay Snacks or Quandre Diggs, and you don't have a Twitter, you make you a Twitter, and as long as it's not something crazy, you can ask them questions and they'll respond, man. They really will.
That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even. You know what? I just started following Quandre Diggs. I've been following Slay, but he putting all these workout videos out, and I'm like, hey, that's just more confirmation for me that he gonna be there at training camp. So that's good.
He's coming back.
There go TA. TA finally back, man. Mr. Mount Rushmore himself. What's
going on, baby? Man, I was just drinking some water, man.
Did you say you drinking some water?
Yeah, it's hot, man. It's hot.
I mean, he is in Arizona.
Yeah, he is in Arizona.
He in Arizona, bro.
Right, he in the
right, man.
Right.
He ain't never seen no heat like that before.
Hey,
never, man. Never.
Plus.
Noble.
What the temp is right now in AZ, man? Talk to us.
Like 106, 107.
Dang, bro. He said that without a hesitation. What you mean? 106 what? Anything is out of pocket.
Yeah. It's hot, man.
He said, "Oh yeah, no, man. Yeah, it's just 135 over here. Chilling, man. Like it's no big deal, man.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Man, it's 500 degrees here, man. The road's melting, and my tires.
What's your thoughts on Carry On? Clapping back at the fans, man, and players in general clapping back at fans.
Well, hey, he just letting you know he a human. He got feelings. When you look at a situation like that, he's just letting you know, like, look, I'm not an alien or anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm an actual person and I got feelings, and I will clap back.
Yeah,
I will do it.
Hey, and he's not holding
I mean, I
nothing
know
back.
TJ hasn't tweeted in a while, but even TJ Hawkinson, man, I'm telling you, like the world has changed a bit. The social media, it definitely has a ton of negative connotations. We know this, but the accessibility for players and fans, whether the player hates the fan or the fan hates the player, it just opens up a lot of things and a lot of interaction, a lot of unity, and a lot of trash talk and a lot of smack talk, man. I mean, on one of them comments, the dude was like, "Man, you should be watching out for Carry On Stiff Arm." I'm like, bro, y'all need to stop right now.
Yeah.
After he took the one,
he hit him with. He told him like Carry On gave him that stiff arm on that comment that he just said, and I was like, bro, because he just clapped back on him. But now listen.
Hey, so what happened though? What happened with the?
He went after folks, man. He was on Twitter and he decided to go after some Lions fans in the bleacher. It was straight epic, man.
Wow, Carry On.
Breaking people's ankles without being on a field.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Oh, we got 40 people in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video so we can get this out to more people, man.
Also
Flight
fellas out there,
000 says run game gonna be nasty this year. I definitely think. He said Mellow Mo in the building.
Mellow Mo. Hey, folks.
Mellow Mo.
Oh, Mellow Mo, my boy. Yeah.
What's
up?
up?
You want Mo or Mellow Mo? Because the guy has some good content. I love hearing it. Folks, I got one thing to say. If you've not subscribed to the guy named Micro Mike, he is too cool not to, man. Make sure you do that as well. And I'm not plugging myself.
Yeah.
That was someone else.
Plug yourself.
Insert plug here. I'm not plugging.
No, but real talk though, plug yourself, man. Because I'm telling you, man, I don't think people realize though, like the way you go about doing your editing, what they see, like you said, is a 2 to 5 minute video, but they don't realize how much work you put into the video being edited like that. I can't do it.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, these video edits will kill you, bro.
Video edits is not a game, man.
Like
it don't play around, man. It knocks you out, and it helps bring content that's
Detroit Drew says, speaking of plugs, here I am. Shout out to Detroit Drew, man. Just in the building.
Shout out.
If you want to hear me and him argue about Russell Westbrook, make sure you check us out tomorrow on Piston Center Court, man.
It'll be on his channel.
The feelings on him, man.
Right.
All right, Mike,
I got another question.
Maestro, Maestro, go take it over, man. You got it, man. This your show. The DSA is moving in a totally different direction, and Micro Mike, man, he holding it down. This your show, bro. Let's go.
Man, I got another question for y'all, and I really want to see what you guys take. Have you noticed players buying into Matt Patricia's scheme and what he's trying to change the culture in Detroit? Have y'all noticed that, J-Mo?
Yeah.
I definitely have. Well, you got to look at it from the perspective of all of these expatriates that play with. Some of these guys have only played with Matt Patricia 1 year, and they want to come to the team. And we got to remember, before we even got him, every player, like, I would hire him as a head coach. Oh, I would too. And this player over here is saying that, and this player on this team over here is saying that. They love Matt Patricia. He's a player's coach, and they respect him, and they know that following his scheme, it just gives production from some players like or Sean Melvin, Justin Coleman. They love to come here because besides the fact that the familiarity with the coach, the type of defense that we play suits their style, and it's a lot of players like that. That's why players coming out defending Matt Patricia and saying how great he is, because look, he's been a great defensive coach. He just has to learn how to coach the entire team and not just one section. So once he gets that down, man, I definitely think he will. Sky's the limit, man.
Hey, great point, J-Mo. I mean, you touched on some points that I believe as well. But before I get into it, Troxel, do you agree or you disagree with that statement? Do you think these players are buying in, or are they going to be a sleigh?
No, I think these players are definitely buying in. And when you have players, all 53 buying in, you will see probably the best football, out there on the field every Sunday, and that's something that, that we haven't had in a while. You know, yeah, we had some people that bought into you know, the Jim Schwartzes and the Jim Caldwells and things like that, but they weren't really winning coaches. Like when you look at Matt Patricia, he came from a winning organization. So did Bob Quinn. And you know, when you have all these guys buying in and believing, you know, that we're actually good, which, you know, the Detroit Lions, I don't know if people realize, are actually a good team. You know,
I wanted to let's see. Mellow Mo is officially in the building. Cal Wu and D Williams in the building. Shout out to y'all. Tone Components in the building. What's up, Tone? Shout out to you, man.
Jack Bain, man. What up, Doe?
George Morgan said, I guess he was replying to Bucks where he said the moment Tate got moved, you could feel a shift in the culture. Yeah, that was a very unique move. Tone Cosmone says, but did Stafford buy in is the question. Well, to me, after that personal stuff he went through and the fact that he still showed up when really the team was like, yo, why are you here? You know?
Absolutely.
That to me is buying in, you know, action speak louder than words. Ain't that what they say? So
100.
That right there shows me that Stafford definitely buying in. Even if he wasn't buying in last year, that was last year. I'm talking about right now. So I'm not here to I mean we could debate it whether he bought in last year or not, but I'm not even here to debate that right now. And if you look at the state of where the team was, the dude had an injured back and they were going into the last game versus the Packers. And if you take what the Wolves said from because of the game they interviewed was Patricia and Stafford, and they said some things. They said some very glowing things about each other. And then what happens on the Sunday?
Right.
We destroyed the Packers like we've never did in Lions history in Lambeau Field. So to me, you know, that's just another. You got to pay attention to the little things. You know what I'm saying? So that's just another thing that just proves that, you know, he did buy in, whether it took until the end of the year or not. You know, the results came out on the field. So,
JMO, man, you hit the nail on the head with Stafford. Definitely buying in. The guy played with a broken back. Think about that, folks. He had a fracture
I don't know what he is.
His spine.
Right.
Why would he not be buying in? Is he playing with a fracture in his spine and his wife had brain surgery and he still goes to practice? To me, that's insane. Mr. Rushmore Sports Entertainment, also is Noble. What do you think about this, man? Do you think that players are buying into what Patricia's selling?
Yeah, I definitely think that the players are buying into what Matt Patricia is selling right now, and it's like hotcakes right now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want one. So, you know, basically, when you're talking about buying in, you're talking about from the start of OTAs to the rookies coming in, and all the way up to training camp, and then past beyond that, you're talking about preseason, and then from the preseason, you're talking about the regular season, guys on one accord, guys spending time with each other, getting to know each other, getting to know the dislikes, and, you know what I'm saying, being able to give your brother a hand when he's not doing good out there on the field, you know what I'm saying, giving him that encouragement and saying, yeah, bro, it's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? You're going to learn this scheme. You're going to learn what your job is. So I definitely think that they are buying into what Matt Patricia is selling. We just got to make sure that everybody is on one accord. And once everybody gets there and the team is unified, then this team will start winning football games. That's the only thing that the Lions need to do. They don't have anything else to prove to people but to win games. And how you shut people up is by winning. That's how you shut them up. You know, the Lions this season, they're going to have to beat teams that you don't expect that they'll beat. You know what I mean? You're going to have to beat teams this season that they don't think that you should fully, you know what I'm saying, get victories over these type of teams and things of that nature. So buying in starts from all the way from OTAs to the regular season and from the players spending time with each other and getting to know each other and lifting each other up.
Man,
we got Mars Landon in the building. What's up, Mars Landon?
What's up, Mars?
What up, though, Mars?
My boy Mars Landy, man.
What up, though, Mars Landon?
And Melamone said that they don't buy in. Bye, Felicia. Exactly. So Slay and Snacks, I hope you listening. You don't buy in, it's a wrap.
Yep.
If you don't buy in, you're going to buy out.
Happening, man.
And you're going to get more out.
That's ready to win. And, you know, that's why I love what I know this is off topic, but I love what Bob Quinn does with drafting, and he only likes to get these blue-collar type guys. because he gets guys that's more that's obviously versatile, but they can adapt to a style like what we're trying to build here. You know, adapt to the culture that we're trying to build here because they're blue collar guys. They come from stuff like this. So TJ Hockenson, you know, he was bought in the moment, you know, we called his name. So
Right.
and guys like Jelani Tavai, you knew he was bought in from day one. And you know, so I just look at stuff like that too, man.
Hashtag facts.
Facts.
Hey,
Facts.
Now
let's
it's
see.
time for the field general himself to give his input on this. Luke, man, what do you think? Do you think like me that the players are buying in?
I mean, you all y'all gave good points. I mean, from Stafford playing with the broken bones in his back to coming after his wife had brain surgery to the commitment he's shown. That's all a good point. The fact of them winning. I think y'all made some very good points. I think the biggest part of seeing the buy-in is it went from being a number of players complaining to it being completely crickets. The media has story after story about players complaining about this and complaining about that. And if you just start to watch the interviews of Matt Patricia, he run around smiling a whole lot more than he did that first year. I mean, he's smiling, laughing. His whole attitude is different. And when you look at how the team is responding, just go to how they responded and then with the adjustments going down the stretch after they got Snacks Harris on defense.
Yeah.
They was like, yo, I see what's going on here. And to me, that in and of itself tells me that they're buying into it. I mean, even when you go to Marquise Flowers, he's like, yo, man, I run through a brick wall basically for Matt Patricia. And he was hoping he can get another shot here. So players is definitely buying in. Anybody who believes otherwise is, they fooling themselves.
Absolutely, man. I can concur with what you guys just said. I totally believe they're buying in. There may be individuals like 50 Shades of Slay who may not be buying in.
That's great. Hey, that's a power move right there.
well, folks, if he's not buying in, he's going to get pushed out. But I think he'll show up at camp. They eventually will buy in. Again, what Patricia and Quinn are doing are fundamentally changing the culture when it comes to Detroit. We all know football is a game of inches. It's a chess match. And he's specifically building that right now by getting the players he wants, getting young players that don't know how the NFL works straight from college. And now he can develop them the way he wants them to train and practice, as well as play throughout the season. And I think they're buying into it. He's made a lot of changes, a lot of turnover this offseason, and I'm super excited to see it. Literally, when I see Matt Patricia and like Matthew Stafford, I do believe they're buying in. It reminds me of Leonardo DiCaprio on the Titanic holding the girl and singing the song. I totally believe they're buying in. And
oh, man. I thought you was about to say when the boat was going down. Oh, man.
But in this story, the Titanic don't sink, man.
That's crazy.
Hey, I'd rather be on Noah's Ark than the Titanic.
Right, you feel me?
Two of every kind.
Yeah. Hey, we got 53 people in the building and 33 likes. Can we get them likes up, people?
Let's go, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's get the likes up,
let me
everybody.
just say this, man. Mike, you doing an amazing job, bro. Don't slow down. You changing the game right now.
Keep it coming.
I don't muted myself a few times. I'm over here laughing too hard. Like, catch yourself, man. Catch yourself. Have some professionalism to it. You feel me?
Yeah, Mike. You got us looking like the 72-10 Bulls team, bro. We going big right now.
Hey. I'm trying to be.
Hey, I got a question for y'all.
Smoke it, man.
I got a question.
Mr. Mount Rushmore himself, talk to us.
All right, my question is this, basically, you know what I'm saying? As a Lion fan, why are you so optimistic about 2019? Why are you so optimistic? Why do you think the Lions are going to have a different season from the season that they had prior to this and seasons of old? You know what I'm saying? Why are you so optimistic this season in 2019?
I got this. It's not even optimism. It's just taking something at face value for what it is and analyzing it and seeing how it's going to be based on this season's going to go. I'm just taking stuff at face value. If the team like if this was last year, because last year I had a lot of, I was very up and down, and I had a lot of questions. But
Yeah.
I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at my opponent's schedule. I'm looking at the places that we got better. I'm looking at the areas that we got worse in, where it's not really areas like that. Looking at year two of the defense, it's just a lot of things that you take into account when it comes to building a football team. And then I'm looking at the depth, like Bob Quinn with the free agency. It's just so many things that it's not even being positive necessarily. You can be positive in the school, but I'm saying it's not even about being positive. It's just taking stuff at face value. Look at the free agency, look at the schedule, look at the draft, look at how we're trying to build. And you break all of that down to to decide, like where is this team gonna go? How do you think the team is gonna go? Because if this was the same roster from last year, we did nothing in free agency, I would be a little concerned.
Hey, you know what?
Damian Mendola's, Justin Coleman and Rashawn Melvin's gonna turn up to end up being a big signing, even though I'm not gonna lie, I never wanted him. Said he was average. I'm not lying. Y'all know J-Mo I don't sugarcoat nothing, but it looks like he's gonna benefit the team. You get Jesse James, you get Trey Flowers, like those little things, and all the stuff we did in the draft. I mean, getting the money Warrior in the 5th round. How is that possible? We the world may never know. So to me, it's just taking stuff at face value.
Okay.
KFC is gone.
Yeah, KFC's gone, man.
KFC.
Lawson's gone. Huge addition.
Yeah. No, that's never Lawson. It's not Nevin Lawson. It's never, because he never, ever, ever, ever gets an interception. Ever. Man. And we got to play them too, don't we? We got to play against Never Lawson, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Ooh, he's gonna get scorched. Hashtag facts.
Man, I cannot wait to watch that Raiders Hard Knocks to see Lawson get cut. I mean, I'm gonna just sit. I don't hate the man. I don't hate the guy personally.
No,
so many times in games, I just would look at the TV and shake my head, do a big sigh, and say FML, because this dude can't do anything right.
And you forgot he never ever gets an interception.
I mean, to me, to answer that question, for my reason for being so optimistic about this season is 2 parts. One part is I'm always optimistic when it's a new offseason. That means new offseason, new beginning. You know what I mean? But 2, this is like one of the years where I have never in my life seen so much hate and discontent with the Detroit Lions. Everybody is doubting them. Nobody is rooting for them. Nobody can care anything about them. And I look at those players who are on this team from what they did a season ago, even though it was only 6-10, and I'm like, nobody think y'all gonna do nothing? Y'all the basement people? And I just know, like, they gonna rise up like, okay, we're gonna make y'all notice us. And that in and of itself got me optimistic. The more people are saying that we're not gonna be good, the more I'm excited about it. When they were saying we was gonna be good and all this other stuff, and the media was all on board, man, it was rough, So times have changed.
Back because he heard the chatter. They hear it. They're like, oh, this how y'all think it's gonna be? Okay.
Mm-hmm. What I'm really enjoying about this offseason compared to last is I specifically knew last year was going to suck because you're doing a fundamental culture change.
Yep.
And he had individuals that were on the team that was part of the Caldwell era where it's more relaxed than it is Matt Patricia. Now Matt Patricia gets a great draft again thanks to Bob Quinn, getting Bo Benshaw as a free agent, getting Amani in the 5th round. Just is insane to me. And having individuals like Snacks Harrison get traded mid-season and now he has a full season to play is so exciting to see this defense. I think this defense, the pressure is going to be far better than what it was. And with the major upgrades due to the secondary, we're going to get a lot of turnovers. And we all know turnovers really is a big impact in winning football games. And then they pick up CJ Anderson, the bowling ball. When it gets cold out, he is going to hit a defender, and the defender's not going to want to get hit anymore near the 4th quarter. And that's how you win games, by long, sustained power drives, and I like it. I like the movement that it's going towards. I like the destruction that they are playing like their jobs are on the line. Speaking of Quinn and Matt Patricia, and that's what I want them to do. I want them to go out and get great free agents, specific ones like a Trey Flowers, Coleman, and Jesse James that's been to the playoffs, that's won Super Bowls, and bring that mentality to Detroit, because we have I don't think we've had that since I've been alive, at least.
Man, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy to see. It's crazy to see how the team is being structured. I love how every player Lions fans hate. I think that's awesome, because when we was getting play, I remember when we got Charles Rogers, I was the only one walking around the house moping, and I had a whole crowd of people around me like, "Man, you crazy?" I'm like, "I'm crazy. I watched Michigan State. I'm crazy," you know. And I remember it like it was yesterday, where it seemed like no matter who we drafted, people was hyped about it, and I was like, "Why?" Like people were so ecstatic about Kevin Smith because he broke Barry Sanders' record in college, and I'm like, but he's no Barry. I mean, you can see the difference between the two. Yeah. And this year, it looks like it's totally different. And Tone Capone points it out. To me, it's more of a system than talent. To see the Lions get back to having a system that works. And that's something that they had in 91, man. And it's awesome to see it. So I think overall, it's a good look for the Lions to have this level of hate and to have this level of disrespect, because it gives them more motivation. Because I bet you them same people who doing that, they gonna go at the Slay next and be like, "Yo, he's soft. He don't want to compete. He don't want to go with the grind." And watch, he gonna have to show up and show out.
Trav, what you think about all of this, man?
Yeah, what you think about the optimistic for the team,
man? This is what I feel about it. It's like, well, for me, I'm most hype about this team is what they did. How many years have we been saying they got to go get this, they got to go get that? They actually went out and did that. Yeah. Name, and I'm going to challenge you guys on this one. Name one time we had not just one, but three, like all pro type tight ends. And I'm going with Hockenson going to be all pro. But how many times have we ever had that?
We didn't even have one, alone three.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
We didn't even had a half of one. No, we did have one. We did have one, and that was the late great Charlie Sanders. After that, though, there was nobody else.
Yeah. Man, you make a great point, Trox, and that's a good way to talk about how do you believe Darrell Bevell is going to utilize these tight ends compared to what he's done in the past with Seattle.
Transition king in this boy.
Can he replicate what Bill Belichick did in 2011 with Gronk and Hernandez? Luke, what do you think about that, man?
Man, listen, I've been looking at the way it's been structured, right? So if people go back that year, I think that was one of the first years where, I think that was like Hernandez first year. I feel like it was, but I think Hernandez had like 900 something yards and maybe like 12 touchdowns or something like that. I can't remember the numbers on top of my head, but none the least. I remember watching that team, and I remember thinking, how do you stop that? And I don't even care who the receivers were. How do you stop that? And I look at TJ Hockenson, and I look at James, and I'm not saying James is on the level of a Hernandez or he's on the level of a Grunt. But when I look at the thing that those two tight ends had on New England, it was height. It was height. And when I look at our tight ends, what do they have? Height. And I'm like, I see them being able to be very successful with the two tight end set, especially given the fact that you're going to now have a full-time Kerryon Johnson back there and not LeGarrette Blount. Okay. So that's the huge one right there.
The dance artist.
Also, you don't have a Golden Tate to throw it to destroy the offense by giving him the ball behind the line of scrimmage 15 times a game.
Bubble screens everywhere.
Right. And when it comes to these tight ends, what I really, really like about it is, first off, we all know that TJ Hockenson, in my opinion, is a blue chip tight end. He's going to be a very great player for us immediately, even though the tight end position takes a little bit to learn. But having these tight ends, these young tight ends, these tight ends that can catch the ball, and like Hawkinson who can really block as well, having the wide receivers that we have with Marvin Jones Jr., with Kenny Galladay, these tight ends, Amendola, who do you stop? Who do you double team? Because someone's going to get open. And just having that extra dynamic is going to make this offense sustain drives and get more touchdowns and make the defense rest. To me, the tight ends are going to be great in that fact, even if the stats aren't the same when it comes to Gronkowski and Hernandez. I believe the stats all around on offense is going to go far, far higher than what people expect, especially what the mainstream media expects.
Hey, and just to piggyback off that, Mike, a little bit, I think one of our areas where we were kind of lacking at was, red zone touchdowns. And I think by having those tight end sets, it's really going to help us out, because if we run in 2 to 3 tight end sets, I definitely think that we're going to be able to score more than we, instead of going for field goals all the time, because Lions always get down to the red zone, man, and we always kicking 5 and 6 field goals a game, man. I want to score more points this season.
I feel like a lot of that, though, besides the tight ends, a lot of that had to do with KFC. He didn't know how to call red zone plays to get players open. Sometimes that plays a seriously, huge factor. So, and then I did want to piggyback off something. You brought up Marvin Jones, and I don't know why Marvin, he's now apparently the new black cat that everybody wants to pick on. He's the new player that people think he trained. Y'all don't learn, man. Put some respect on Marvin Jones' name. I know last season he got injured or whatever, but he was injured. He played through it, but eventually they sat him out. But let's not forget what he was doing with the 30-second ranked running game.
Yeah,
Marvin Jones is about to have I know a lot of Lions fans think we're gonna trade him and all these other types of things, but I don't know. Maybe after this season, but I think Marvin Jones, and he dropping diss tracks to the media. Shout out Marvin, man. I love you for that. Man,
hey, did he sing it or did he rap it?
Don't have a great season this year. He's the one that everybody is forgetting about. I feel like.
But I don't even think people are forgetting about Marvin Jones. I mean, he did an R&B diss track. I mean, when you get
R&B diss track, okay,
you get dissed in an R&B diss track, man. It's pretty much there.
That boy is an R&B thug. He's an R&B thug, man.
I like what TA talked about, the idea of the red zone, because what the tight ends do is they create mismatches for the linebackers, and the linebackers in today's league, on average, they're not that big. They're going with those speedy, faster guys and stuff. And that's why the Lions coveted Jelani Tavai so much, because he was like, he's big. He's like that Willie McGinnis type prototype body style. So, when I look at that red zone, when you can utilize that height and those tight ends in the middle of the field to create mismatches and run different routes and stuff, that is huge for a team. The Lions would get to the red zone, like you said, TA. They would get to the red zone and take field goals, and it was frustrating.
Man, it was so frustrating.
It was frustrating.
Oh man.
Trav,
you heard it,
Trav, man. We got to get your take on what do you think about the tight ends and what? And it don't even have to be what we be like New England. I mean, Darrell Bevell was in Seattle. Their tight end play, even though they didn't have that much talent, with Jimmy Graham and some of the no-name guys that I can't remember their names, literally. I mean, their tight ends were solid in Seattle too. Do you think Darrell Bevell will be able to bring that over here and translate with this team?
Absolutely, because if you look at the skill set that each player brings, they bring a different aspect. Like you can have your TJ Hawkinson block, while Jesse James goes out and catches a pass, or you could do vice versa, on a couple plays here and there. You got so much versatility with these players, at the tight end position. It just makes it, so much harder to guard and defend. And then when you have, guys that are guessing what's the next play for the tight ends, you got them on their heels, and they're almost as good as KFC.
And you know what, Trav, just to say something off that, Trav, you're so right about that, bro. You're so right about that, because now the Lions offense is not going to be as easy, as predictable as it was. Like, the defense knowing what we're doing, Because normally, and this is the only reason probably, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna put it like this. The reason why, you know, a lot of us say it's time for Theo to go is because everybody knows that Theo is a one-trick pony. So if he's still on the roster still, everybody already knows what he's coming in the game to do, and that's to catch out the backfield. Now, every now and then they might run with him, but because he is that one-trick pony, definitely people are going to know like Theo's coming in to catch, man. So we gotta watch him out the backfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
I'm
think
gonna read
if we got
comments, and then we're gonna get back to you, Micro Mike. You know, the leader of our 72-10 squad right now. I'll read this comment. Lone Wolf says, "What's gonna happen if we go 6-10 or 5-11 in 2019? How will Murtha Favre react? Firing. James Willis says that is predictable. Mix it up by going with a 2 tight end set at 1st and 10 from the 40. That's not a common offense." And I remember, I don't know, somebody from, I can't remember who it was, but somebody from our camp was talking about the fact that it was Darrell Bevell, actually, that our not our defense, but our offense is not going to be like all these other NFL offenses. So he said, you're going to be going through the season and going against these other teams. Then you play a team like us that plays completely differently from everybody else in the league, and that's how we're going to get you. And I feel like it's 2 things. One thing, you want to be unpredictable. But one thing is, I want to say you want to be predictable, but you want them to, you know, if they know what you're doing, they still can't stop it. Like they know Carry On about to come run straight at them, and then they still get destroyed for 15 yards, or CJ Anderson, or they know Stafford's about to pass on the 3rd down, and Danny Amendola still gets that catch on 3rd down. To me, that along with being unpredictable, that's that second layer that we need, and that's something I feel like that's why the Patriots been winning so many Super Bowls, because they're unpredictable and you don't know what they're doing, but sometimes you do know what they're going to do, and you still can't do anything to stop it. William Carvin says all that matters is we have the best tight ends in the North by a mile. I mean, we do have some great tight ends. Minnesota tight ends are solid too, but we'll see if they keep Rudolph. But all right, Mike.
I mean, let me ask you this though. Oh, let me just add to you what you just said, J-Mo. One of the things that I wish I had the Denzel Washington once Jake realized that Denzel was a dirty cop in training day. And remember, he started clapping like, "All right, you passed, Jake." Remember, he get that. what you said deserved that clap because it was spot on. And I think that, you know, I can't wait to get my soundboard back. I'm hoping that this is the month I get my live back, so everything can get going. But man, if I could give you that slow cap, like, you know, hit you with the mind, you know what? Hey, spot on with that, man. Mike, show yours, man. Go ahead, Maestro.
So listen, man. That's a good one, dude. So listen to this, fellas. Darrell Bevell had a whole year off without doing any NFL work. He had a year to really refine his playbook and put more kinks in there that no NFL team is going to expect. They don't have tape on the stuff that he's been coming up with this past year, coming up with new schemes. He got the tight ends now that he needs to make this whole offense just explode. That's so exciting. And I'm going to jump on J-Mo's fact is if they do know what we're going to do, if we're going to run it, they know we're going to run it in the 4th quarter, but we still beat them. That means our team is superior to theirs, and we have the ability to sustain drives in the 4th quarter, kill the clock, win the game. No Matthew Stafford comeback. Let's move on to next week. I love it.
Marcel Elbert says, not to mention Bevel's scheme randomness and Patricia's unpredictable defense. You know, now I do think we can't forget about special teams. We got to make sure this unit is top tier. We want to be a good football team. But one thing about our team that's going to be hard to play is Matt Patricia defensive scheme is going to have you scratching your head, and then Darrell Bevell's offensive scheme is going to have you scratching your head. And to me, I know why. Obviously, Stafford's the highest paid player. He's the best player on the team. He's Stafford, so we expect so much from him. But to me, Darrell Bevell, I mean Stafford too. I'm not going to deny that. But Darrell Bevell, man, you got everything at your disposal. You got all the tools. You got all these weapons. You done had time to refine, soul search yourself. Why don't I have a job right now? Maybe I need to have better plays. You had all of this time. So to me, and I'm looking at some of Seattle's rosters on offense and the way they ran out, I'm like, dude, we can do this here much better. So to me, he has all the tools for success. We just got to make sure that O-line, that O-line stays intact.
Yeah, they got to come through for us. They are key this season to us being successful.
Make sure you guys like the video. We got 48 people in here, man. Shout out to y'all, man.
Says, don't forget that Bevel will also make in-game adjustments, unlike KFC. That's a great point. There was no adjustment last year. It was so ridiculously bad. The defense knew exactly what we were doing, and they would not allow adjustments. How can you succeed if you can't make adjustments to what the defense is giving you? Epic recipe for failure. Darrell Bevell now will give that ability to Matthew Stafford to make adjustments, to change the play, to put in a play that's successful. We need to go 4 yards. We're not going to throw it 2 yards. We're going to throw it 5. If he feels that the defense is playing to stop the run, he'll do the pass. If they're playing the pass, we'll give it to Kerryon Johnson or CJ Anderson. That is such an important factor.
Yeah. Shout out to Melo Mo. He says he had a great show and he has to catch us later, man. Thanks for coming by, man.
All right, thanks for coming by, Melo Mo.
All right, take it easy, Melo Mo.
Now, shout out to Boo, who says it's gonna be that Super Tecmo Bowl play calling. I don't know.
I meant Super Tecmo Bowl.
Hey,
wow,
man,
he went back on this right there.
Super Tecmo Bowl. Y'all, you go way back, huh, man?
Yeah, man. He went way back.
but you know what I love about the Lions play calling thing? It's funny because I remember this, and I know, like people gonna say that this is different. And I remember Jim Caldwell, man. Jim Caldwell had 2 things that would always bother me. How he could never get 11 guys on the field. I would never understand that. I would never understand that. And 2,
which way did he go, George? Which way did he go?
I don't know.
Yogi, you got your big neck basket.
I mean, but how do you go 4 seasons and never have a 100-yard rusher, man? I don't get this. I just don't. It is funny to me because it's like when you look at Jim Caldwell when he won that Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, I'm thinking like that's Tony Dungy's team. He put that together.
Oh, absolutely.
And they still have the offensive coordinator more there. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, you never had a 100-yard rusher in 4 years on this team.
Right.
And you couldn't even get 11 guys on the field. And it was always in the most crucial part of the game. I'm like, bro, the first thing you do is count people. Absolutely. And it was frustrating, man. And when I look at
that's something you learn in high school. Did you learn that in high school football? Like, I mean, make sure everybody out here.
Literally took special teams to a whole new level when it comes to coaching. It was so bad. Literally, you would just look at and be like, what? Come on, man.
That Scooby-Doo and Shaggy look. Ruh-roh, Shaggy. It's only 10 players on the field. Ruh-roh. Like,
I mean, that Ravens game, man. I'm like, bro, it's 30. You had 9 dudes out there you didn't even know. And then listen, this is what made it worse.
We were driving.
He hired 2 people. We had 2 extra staff members. Do y'all realize this? We had 2 extra staff members on the Jim Caldwell coach staff. One was to help him manage the clock. I'm like, bro, when do you get an extra person, a whole other person to help you remember the clock? The whole other person, bro. And that didn't even work. And then 2, they had a whole other person to put people in and out. And it was still 9 guys going in. So I'm trying to figure out what was we spending our money on? Like, what? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but when Jim Caldwell got fired, I was like, listen, I was river dancing because I couldn't believe it. I was like, yes, man, this guy, I can't take no more of this.
Yeah, and I wanted Matt Patricia on the team too because I believed in him. But one thing before we move on, I did tell Lions fans this, and obviously, Luke, you wasn't watching my videos back then, so maybe you would have taken it a little bit easier. I was like, Matt Patricia is gonna make some horrible rookie mistakes. And I was like, he's gonna lose us multiple games. This is what happens with rookie head coaches most of the time. Like Sean McVay, a guy like that, that's just rare. It is. Let's just be real about it. I know Matt Nagy did well, but look at the team that Vic Fangio gave him on the other side of the ball. So it's just rare. So I knew I was prepared. I was prepared for that. I definitely thought we would be better because I thought Stafford would be playing better. But after all them injuries happened, and then Stafford started not playing well, and the O line crumbled, and then like until we got snacked, the team was in flux a little bit. So
True,
because there was a lot of things going on behind closed doors. But once we got snacks, the team got back on track, regardless of winning games or not. It's about even if you lose the game, what's the execution? Because that Jets game was horrible. But how many times have Jim Caldwell been coaching us and the Raven game happened 50,000 times? I mean, I still don't know how Stafford completes 20 straight completions and we was getting blown out like that until we got some late touchdowns.
I mean, but
don't make no sense. He had 20 straight completions, bro.
The play calling was always late. You notice that it was always late. It seemed like this is when I knew they had to fire Jim Caldwell. And I know people I know people y'all gonna say I'm tripping, but I'm telling you, when he called that fancy trick play the last game of his season against the Green Bay Packers, that reverse, whatever that was, that pass, and I was like, bro.
Oh, you talking about the one that the Eagles stole?
Man, now I'm like, now you want to call trick plays? 4 years in, now you want to call trick plays? You got to be kidding me! Like, look, come on, you call it.
Marcel Herbert says, reminds me of Hugh Jackson said to the reporter that he didn't know he had all 3 timeouts left when they lost. Oh my
man,
God.
how can you not know that, bro?
Like, I still remember when we were going against the Browns and they didn't call a timeout and tried to score in that game at halftime. It's just a lot. Like I said, every time something stupid happened, Jim Caldwell, you put it on his face and he'd be like, "Ruh-roh, Shaggy." Oh, ruh-roh. And he had a stupid look on his face, like, I don't know what's going on, guys. Do you know what's going on? Like, that's why Jim Caldwell is the last one I'm giving credit for the comebacks. The comebacks go that year. I'm giving credit to Stafford. I'm giving credit to the defense, and I'm giving credit to Matt Prater. You was not a part of this, Jim Caldwell, and I don't want to hear it, but we need to, ban his name on here too, because I don't even like talking about that.
Just a quick note. Jim Caldwell was also the one who rejected his scouts' recommendation to take Aaron Donald. And quote, he was quoted saying, "I thought we was trying to get bigger and faster. Why are we taking this small guy?"
Oh, God.
What? So Jim Caldwell is the reason we didn't get Aaron Donald?
Bro.
Yeah.
That's what was
Oh, man.
All right, we can't say his name on here no more. We're gonna have to start calling him. We just gonna have to start calling him Scooby Doo or something, bro.
Wait.
Start calling him Scooby. Because like you, the reason we didn't get Aaron Donald. Because I know Matt Patricia will be like, "You don't give me Aaron Donald, I'm quitting, bro."
Dennis Wilson says, "You tripping, bro? Jim Caldwell tipped $300. Come back, coach." Hey, hey, if I was working somewhere where he tipping me $300, I'd be telling him to come back too. So I ain't mad at you.
All right, Mike, we can move on to the next topic, man.
So we got some news today that Glover Quinn retired, and it was a very heartfelt retirement. If you guys haven't seen the video, check it out. Do you think that Glover Quinn can become a Detroit Lions Hall of Famer for the Lions organization, be a Hall of Fame Detroiter? Do you believe he should be or he should not believe? What about you, Trox?
Oh, man. I definitely think that he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he gave us his best years of his career as a Detroit Lion. And, and I think we took him for granted, we didn't put an offense around, so, the team can be successful. We didn't have, a lot of different things, so we can win playoff games, and that's the one thing, if he doesn't get on first ballot will be because of, not winning a ring. So I definitely, salute to Glover. Wish you nothing but the best. If you ever do listen to this, I wish you nothing but the best, brother. You were awesome for us.
Man, I'm with you, man. I truly like Glover Quinn. I think they should retire him as a Detroit Lion. And the reason for this is not only was he really good on the field, but he was really good off the field. He was a leader. He was an individual that put in the work and did everything he could to make the team better. And to me, what he brought to Detroit when he came here as a free agent was taking the defense and making it more of a scary defense, a helping Darius Slay as a young man, helping some of these young safeties. He contributed a lot as a veteran. I truly appreciated everything he did in Detroit, and I truly hope that he gets inducted to the Lions Hall of Fame. Now, JMO, what do you think, man?
I love Glover Quinn. Like, if you just add me from a football perspective to a broad perspective to a family man perspective, all of it, man. I love Glover Quinn as a player, as a person, and he's had a really great career. I know if y'all seen the little stats since this date, Glover Quinn has done this and nobody else has done it. From since 2013, since he got here, he leads in interceptions by safeties and. Obviously he has the stats and the numbers. And one thing about Glover Quinn won us so many games with what I call the clutch play, but it's not in the clutch. He
was a playmaker. That's
he
true.
was a clutch player, but it didn't necessarily happen in the clutch. And sometimes we'll lose the game, but it be that game. It's teeter-totter, and next thing you know, Glover Quinn gets a random interception that no one expects. And you're like, oh my goodness, thank you, Glover. We needed that. From all the studying he did. Like, he did a lot of studying before these games to pick off Drew Brees, to pick off Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers and all these other guys. He did tons of research on these guys. He studied their tendencies to learn how to use that to his advantage. I mean, no offense to Slay, but he basically made Slay. And then Quandre Diggs, those guys, and even Tracy Walker, like he led these guys, and a lot of the times when Slay was making these clutch plays at the end of games for us, it's because Glover Quinn was making the call. I'll never forget that Vikings game when Slay got that pick, but it was Glover Quinn that was like, all right, you can go make the play. Like, if Glover Quinn don't say that, what's Slay doing standing right there? So leadership is a lot deeper than what happens in the actual football games. Is off the field. He's teaching these black brothers how to save their money and focus on themselves and do a lot of things. And he was, I know his last 2 seasons he was older, obviously, but he was like the best player on our defense after Sue left. You could argue him and Ziggy, but until Slade really started getting really good, the Duke Glover Quinn. When people were talking about the Lions, our defense, who you always heard them say Glover Quinn. I'm talking about on the Stephen A shows and the Skip Bayless shows. When they talked about Glover, they're like, well, yeah, they do got that one good safety over there. So we know his impact as fans, and I knew he was going to retire. It's not surprising me or anything. I thought he already retired, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I did too.
But I guess now he made his official announcement. But when it comes to the Lions organization, I don't know about being a Hall of Famer, in Canton or wherever it is. But when it comes to the Lions, he's definitely one of the best free safeties we've ever had, no doubt.
Now, when I look at Glover Quinn, from my perspective, it's TA. You know what I'm saying? When I look at
Bug Spray says he's leaving us, man. All right, peace out, Bug Spray, man. Make sure you guys like the video. We got 53 people in here, man.
Yeah, when I look at a player like Glover Quinn, basically I'm looking at a guy that was a class act. You know what I'm saying? Whether on the field or off the field, or being a ball hawk out on the field. You know what I'm saying? He was always in the right place at the right time. He always made plays when when we need something out there to happen. Glover was right there, whether it was getting a fumble or whether it was knocking the ball down or batting the ball down or making a key interception. Glover Quinn was right there.
Remember that Vikings game when he stripped Adam Thielen at the end of the game?
Yeah. He made a lot. He made a lot of key plays, man, in his career, and I definitely think that he needs to be retired as a Lion, because he spent majority of his career with us. His earlier season, he's with the Texans, but the rest of the remainder of his career, he was with the Lions. So I definitely think that the Lions definitely need to honor that guy, and not only that, they should try to bring him in to be, like you said, like an ambassador of you know what I'm saying, coming in and talking with the DBs or something. You know what I mean? Being able to give them that. Yeah, giving them guys that education still.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be in the ring of honor for the Lions.
Yeah, man. He had the best season of his. He didn't have. Obviously, it's been a lot of great seasons from safeties, but he didn't just have a great season. He had one of the best seasons from a safety in recent memory when he had 7 picks. And he was just all over the field.
And how many times, guys? How many times how many times did Glover Quinn get snubbed from the Pro Bowl?
He did make it though one year.
Yeah, he made. I think he made it in 2014, but it was
he got snubbed a whole lot.
Yeah, he got snubbed so many times. It's like, man, he one of the best safeties, and they wouldn't give it to him. They'd give it to somebody else.
Of course they would.
Luke, you're the last one, man. What do you think about Glover Quinn? Should he be in the Ring of Honor?
Before Luke go, I already know everybody talking all greatly about Glover Quinn. Luke about to be like, yeah, but he was really garbage for us. Just to call the disagreement. Luke, don't do it.
Hey, listen. To be truthful with you, man. This is what I realized about Glover Quinn. I remember we had a safety called Louise Delmas, right? And I remember he would come up and he would hit and everything, right?
Yeah.
And he had some little skills there, right? But I remember when we got Glover Quinn, and I remember that first interception he got, I went, oh, okay, that might have just been luck. And then the second one came, and I said, oh, righty then, right? And I started noticing teams just started saying, like, bro, stay away from him, okay? Quit testing him out. He ain't to be played with. And I said to myself, for the first time in a long time, the Lions have a safety that people respect.
Right.
And he didn't have a problem coming up and run support. He didn't have a problem playing good coverage. But the things that he did on and off the field, how he was a leader and getting people set up and adjusted, helping them get adjusted to the NFL, helping them get in the right place, giving them their shot. Most players, when they get hurt, they're not trying to help that dude that's in their spot with nothing because you're going to take my spot. He was about the team. And to me, anybody who did what he did on and off the field and was about the team should be given some type of recognition by the Lions because it's not too many people who come through the Detroit Lions that you can say, man, they need some love because in that little bit of time that he had, the impact was felt. And I don't even think that he so much as lost a step last year as much as he just didn't fit the scheme. He was getting older.
I think he was a little bit slower.
I mean, listen. For me, players have gotten slow a lot. I mean, I remember Troy Polamalu got slow, but his ability to play within technique was the difference between him making plays. I remember Ray Lewis was slower. Remember that last year? He couldn't even quite get over there like he was, but he changed his technique to be able to make plays. And I saw those same type of things that could have been done with a Glover Quinn. And for that, I respect him. So if he makes it in the Ring of Honor, I can't have no complaint about it. But if he don't, I still can't have no complaint about it because I guess the argument could be made that, that's not saying much, I guess, if it's a Lions. But for me, I respect what he did. I respect
we the Lions. We gonna highlight the players that had a real impact, not just on the team, but on the community, because he did so much stuff in the community too.
Right.
That's the stuff that I pay attention to.
Right.
So if he's not in the Ring of Honor, I would be a little bit upset. Like, come on, man.
Right. Because they probably got some players up there that don't need to be in the Ring of Honor.
Right. I mean, and to me, it's always the ability to make sure that you play within your scheme. I really believe that he just didn't fit the scheme. And then on top of that, you didn't want to pay him. I get it. You didn't want to pay him to keep him because he was older. So, and plus he was always talking about, I might retire. He was unsure of it, and the Lions was unsure. So they just went on and said, rip the Band-Aid off and like, okay, listen, man, go do your thing. You served us well. We respect it. And it's nothing more you can say. I mean, but Quinn is a guy that I got a lot of respect for, I felt like the Lions, before Calvin retired, I remember thinking like, to me, the greatest thing Calvin Johnson could have did was retire. And people was like, what? I was like, bruh, that amount of money he was making, and he was clearly losing the step. He was fumbling. I mean, Cam Chancellor came and popped the ball out, and I'm like, bruh, he trying to reach out for a first and fumble. I was like, them hands ain't the same. And I was like, and we going to have to still pay him all that money. So with Glover Quinn, it was a little bit different because you saw the vocal ability of him. You saw him in the community. You saw him being the leader. You saw him yelling at reporters and fans. And even after he left the team, when he did that podcast with those gentlemen, he said it. He like, man, the fans here are awesome, but it's some ridiculous fans there, you know? And I was like, who you telling? You know? So, yeah, he should definitely be considered one of those people for that ring.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And it would be awesome to see and witness. It was such a great pickup in free agency, and he really helped this team out in so many ways. And I'm happy that he retired on his own accord without an injury, and he had a very successful career, especially with the Lions. And it's just awesome to have an individual like that, humble, did everything he could, you know, kept quiet, helped people out, and did the best he could do with his opportunity in the NFL. And there's nothing but appreciation to him.
You know, he was one of those saving graces on our defense. Because, I mean, we've had some up and down defenses with Glover Quinn, but at least you knew, like I was saying earlier, Glover would always make that play when you least expect it. Like, I know we lost the game to the Steelers because of the guy we were just talking about, Jim Caldwell, was such a horrible coach. I'll never forget. This was like that game. It's a lot of games that Jim Caldwell's messed up, but that game is when I was done with him because, y'all, when I literally was telling y'all, I was literally screaming at the TV, kick the field goal. And I knew he wasn't going to do it, and I kept screaming like it was going to change his mind, and he ran Dwayne Washington into the wall. But, you know, it is what it is. But in that Steelers game, one of the big momentum plays was when he got that interception off of Ben Roethlisberger. And, you know, nobody on our team is usually doing something like that. I know Quandre is coming up, and we know what Slay has done, but he was reading, reacting, and analyzing. And just like Luke said, you know, somebody that these teams will respect, somebody that these teams ain't just going to throw the ball in his direction. And like I said, even in the national media, he was one of the only bright spots that people would talk about on the defensive side of the ball besides, you know, Ziggy or Slay.
Yeah.
What up, though, Joseph Murdoch? What up, though,
and, you know, what's good, Joseph Murdoch and buffed up. But, and, you know, it's a culture thing, too, that he built here. Like, when Jim Caldwell was here, he helped build that culture. And even now that he's gone, he left his mark, and everyone knows and appreciates what he's done for our team and the game. You know, some guys, we just have to have guys that help us stay afloat in situations when the roster isn't good. And he did help us stay afloat and make some of those playoff runs. And when we were number 2 defense, he definitely helped with that. So I'm very appreciative of everything that he did. And I like how he came in and just assimilated himself to the Lions and wasn't bitter about leaving Houston and coming here. It's just a lot of good impact that he had on his team, and not just on the defensive players, on some of the offensive guys that are here too. You know?
Yeah.
That's
got a lot of good players.
Go ahead, Trav.
Oh, I was just gonna say he got a lot of good offensive players better, you know. Right. As far as like, you know, your younger guys and things like that, he kind of took them under the wing and said, hey, come on, let's go. You know, and they started working out together and things like that. And I love when players interact like that from opposite ends of the ball.
What up, though, Beth? Wine for last. Appreciate the kind comments. We are trying to make the show great for y'all, and that's what we do, man. Is there anyone else that want to jump on this topic when it comes to?
Yeah, I just want to say that one of the best things about Glover Quinn is I remember when he was on the Houston Texans and he was playing corner, and I remember looking and being like, man, this guy is struggling. It was a lot of like hype for this guy, and they just did one small thing and moved him to safety, and boom, took off, right? And then I go through and I look at Quandre Diggs, and I'm like, yo, you know, Quandre Diggs, man, he out here, yeah, but God, Quandre, come on. But then he went to safety, and it was like, boom, took off. And now I'm looking at Tees, and I'm like, he's struggling at safety. But what if we just move him? I mean, he's struggling at corner, but what if we just move him to safety? Could he be the next boom takeoff? Because I'm telling you, it's one of them things where just changing the way a person play at makes you get the best result. I remember when Michael Strahan first came into the league, they had him at right end. That dude was non-existent. They moved over to the left. Michael Strahan, right?
Right. He said Michael Strahan. I mean, I know you're right. It's just the way that you said it.
That's how it happened. And it's just one of them things where we always look at these players who get that small move who end up being something amazing, like Deion Buchanan, bro. You couldn't tell me nothing about Deion Buchanan. They knew that man was a linebacker, and I was like, bro, he's still balling? Really?
Balling.
Yep.
Best wine for last says, love the content, man. Shout out to you, man. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't to. And breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Oh my goodness. Me and Buffed Up agree on something. I can't believe it. In the chat, man. He said he wanted Russell Westbrook to the Pistons. I can't believe it. We agree on something, man. Oh man. Well, I need to go protect these aliens because they about to come down like, oh, y'all agree? Oh no, man. Y'all can't be agreeing.
That comment for tomorrow, man. Y'all can talk about it, man. Make sure you say that.
No, I'm just saying this is the first time we've agreed on anything.
Hey.
Dennis Wilson says, when my Powerball hit, I rebuilt the whole organization from scratch, like my made home biscuits.
And you do, hey
man, when you hit the Powerball, we already in the Super Bowl, bro. Don't worry about it.
Hey, yeah, donate some of that money to the DSA, baby. We'll split it up.
Right, man. Help us become nationally syndicated, man.
Yeah.
But no, that's funny, man. But like I said, man, Glover impact is felt through a lot of these fans and a lot of people in the Detroit city, you know, just the people who don't even watch games that he touched with some of the things that he did, you know.
Hey, man, I got a really good question here, and this is something that kind of blows my mind and really gets you thinking. In the last 10 years, when it comes to the Lions, if you could change one play throughout the 10 years, what play would it be? Man, Luke, what do you think about this one?
I think that should be the same for everybody.
That pass interference.
Of course.
That's it. I feel like that right there would have nipped all the haters for Matthew Stafford in the butt by just simply that. Because people don't realize that pass interference, while they still had time on the clock, that killed the drive. A drive that they would have scored on. I really believe that they would have scored that.
Because Golden Tate was carving them up that game.
Man, what? And it's so funny because the minute that they changed the rule, the first thing the NFL gave for an example was what? That play that happened to the Lions would have been a pass interference.
I'm so sick of them, bro. Oh, Calvin Johnson. That was a catch in the Bears game. Yeah, this is how we use the example to make the call right. You couldn't make the call right for us, though.
Right. They always come back with it. But to me, that one catch, because then guess what that means? They had a playoff win recently, and I don't got to hear people, use playoff wins and like that one player did that. I'm like, it's a team sport. 11 guys, man. People kill me acting like one person made the difference.
No.
Football, what did I tell you, Luke? After Stafford wins one playoff game, all they gonna say is, he only won one playoff game.
Yeah.
All they gonna say, they just gonna keep moving the goalposts. After he wins more, he never won a Super Bowl though. Like, it never satisfied unless you win a Super Bowl. And I could understand if this was basketball, but this football, man.
They bash A-Rod because he only won one. They're bashing him, but they don't say nothing about Drew Brees. And I'm watching Drew Brees regress. Like, I don't know if people paying attention, but that game against the Dallas Cowboys, I'm like, bro, that interception you threw that and turned your body. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, but you ain't gonna get me feeling sorry for bashing A-Rod because he did have Brett Favre's team.
I get it.
He had Brett Favre's team. He lost Brett Favre's team, and he did nothing since. That's all.
No hate intended though, but Drew Brees got a ring.
No, I get that, but A-Rod do too. And what I'm saying is they're bashing A-Rod.
I mean, they be calling him the GOAT.
Got one.
Come on,
the GOAT.
They say he only got one. That's what they saying.
Yeah, because if you getting called the GOAT, the same thing with a LeBron. You get called the GOAT, who they gonna compare you to? The guy who has more rings. He get called the GOAT. They compare him to Montana and Brady. They're like, bro, you got one. Montana and Brady got 4 and 6. Stop talking.
Right.
Like, you ain't no GOAT. But when
Terry
people
Bradshaw
prop you
got
up like that, they just gonna tear you down by comparing you to the other people.
Right. Hey, do Terry Bradshaw got more rings than him?
Yeah, he got 4 rings, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Terry, hey, TB, TB, a little legend, bro. He got 4 of them boys.
No, but they bash Terry Bradshaw too. They always say like Terry Bradshaw didn't win it. They always blame it on they say the defense.
What they call they blame it on the immaculate reception and stuff.
Always something, man. Like, come on, bro.
Nah, he got 4 rings though. Like, put some respect on his name.
But I mean, Travis, what's that one play for you?
Absolutely, the pass interference.
Yeah, it's got to be that, man.
You know,
Hey, it's another play though that I got that
with the Packers game.
No, the Falcons game.
Oh my god! Dude, we make the playoffs if we win that game.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
The Falcons game.
Go ahead and talk about it, Noble.
Man, that Falcons game, man, that was very, very, very sad, man. Because I thought that he broke the plank, man, and they said no, and I'm like, no, man, he did. He broke the plank, man, and
yeah,
it was crazy, man. It was crazy. I think that's like one of the
obviously the Cowboys one is number 1 on my list, but I'm telling you that Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary game is the worst game in Lions history besides that Cowboys game.
Dude, that was I was in that end zone right up front looking at
so you watched it?
Yeah.
Man, I was sick, man. I was sick.
Because listen, I was sitting next to some Canadian Packer fans, and I'm talking mad crap like, oh, it's a wrap. I'm like, that's a bad man. He's done for. I'm talking mad crap because they was talking crap to me, right? And he goes and launches it, and I'm thinking it wasn't a lion near this guy. I'm like, no
Lions. Everybody was behind
near him to box him out. And I'm like, bro, y'all playing with me. And when he came out with that ball, I just about like lost it. I think I walked. That was the slowest walk to a parking lot ever in life.
Hey, did they win the championship off that?
No.
No.
I don't know why I kept thinking
they went to the
NFC.
No, they won the championship. The Vikings won the division.
Man, I thought with that play they ended up becoming division champs off that.
No, Vikings won division that year. AP, that's the year AP ran for like almost 2K again, bro, or whatever he ran for.
Man, bro.
Yeah, but how was all the Lions defensive backs behind the receiver though? I don't.
They all was behind. They all. Listen, I'm watching it in live.
I mean, Calvin Johnson wasn't even out there.
Right.
This is what we talk about with Jim Caldwell. That's why I hate when people try to defend. Well, no, he was a black brother. Look, I support my black brothers, but dog, that was an idiot black brother. I'm sorry to tell y'all, bro. Like, why is Calvin Johnson mega freaking Tron? Out of every receiver in NFL history, we had to call him a robot that's 1,000 feet tall. We had to call him mega freaking Tron.
That's crazy.
Not on the field. Could you imagine Gronkowski not being on the field in that situation? Or Tony Gonzalez not being on the field?
Melvin Drew.
Are you kidding me?
He makes a good point where he says that face mask call before that deep bomb, where the one they got on Devin Taylor.
No, that's the one. That's the call I'm talking about
against Aaron Rodgers.
The Phantom face mask.
Yeah,
but I still think the Cowboys game. That's the worst one, man.
Yeah, that was a bad one, man. Trox, what play is it for you, man?
Oh, I already said the pass interference.
So explain it. Like what?
How'd you feel? Were you sick?
Were you angry?
I was angry. I actually stormed out the house and I think I shotgun about 3 beers right back to back.
Hey man, Trav, that remind me of that. I forgot it was a Giants fan watching them pick what's his name, Daniel Jones. Yeah, and it was so funny, man. And then I remember I saw something where this Warriors fan watched the Warriors lose, and he's like, "Come on, Steph, you gotta ride over and look." And then Steph was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro." he broke down and left, bro. It was so funny. That's how you felt, bro.
Hey, let's just put it this way.
I like what Marcel Edwards just said. He said A-Rod had a wonderful O-line for years. It didn't get better in the offseason. His glass cannon body about to get crushed before he even faces us. You want to hear something funny? And this is going to be kind of off subject. I was reading this article on NFL.com, and it had Carl Lawson, the defensive end / outside linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals. And he said, of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers was the easiest one to sack. And he said the reason he's the easiest one to sack is because he said Aaron Rodgers is always looking for the big play because he believes that if he makes the big play, people say he looks better, so he holds onto the ball longer. And it got me to thinking. When an NFL player calls out something about a player,
you got to finish what he said. He was able to do that because he had an O-line to protect.
Right, but he talked about that O-line. He said that if you watch the film, that that game where he came back and beat Cincinnati, but he said in that game we sacked him so many times. He said, but he had a good O-line where he was just sitting back there patting the ball, and you could only cover for so long. But he talked about it in a way of saying it like this. He was saying like, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, he is always conscious of what he's doing for Aaron Rodgers. And it got me to think about people who say Stafford passed stats, and I'm like, dang,
Aaron Rodgers threw the ball away the most times in NFL history, so he can have a good touchdown to interception ratio.
Yep, on purpose.
Oh, he only threw 2 picks. Bro, I watched this dude literally, again, in the Lions game, just throw the ball away just to be doing it.
Yep. And he talked about it though, but it got me to thinking like people don't realize how important that O-line was for him, and how when he was getting sacked and stuff like that, and how they started making adjustments. But I just thought it was an interesting thing when he talked about his glass body, because it does look like last year he was flustered the minute you mess with him and you get in his face and get all up in his junk. But man, I like
piggyback off of that though. That's why I don't like this. Aaron Rodgers did this without a team, and because we be like, who could do it with Stafford's head? Oh, Aaron Rodgers could do it. I'm like, he did it before in Green Bay. I'm like, bro, he's always had an O-line. And the moment he didn't have an O-line, they missed the playoffs back to back. So what are we really talking about?
Right.
He's always had an O-line. Always. And guess what? TJ Lane retired. Bakhtiari looked like a glass cannon himself. And now Aaron Rodgers is getting sacked, and the Packers aren't winning games. So I don't care what's been around that team, how bad the defense has been, the weapons on offense, the running game, all of that. He's always had an O-line. And that's one thing I said about Stafford, man. We don't even need the greatest team in the world. We just need dude to have an O-line, and I feel like he could carry us just with an O-line. So that's the one thing. That's why I don't like that when people try to compare it to Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, bro, the dude has always been protected and have some semblance of a running game.
Well, George Morgan says, so I have a game that still hurts me, but I was there at that end zone when it happened, and it was the Joey Harrington back-to-back bombs that got dropped against Green Bay in the inaugural game at Ford Field. I remember that. I was like, bro, can y'all help him out? Can you just hold on to it?
All right, y'all.
Just hold on to it. All right, man. Hey.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Hey, Mike, give him that outro. Give him that outro. He got to head out and go be the best cheerleader he can be, man.
For sure. You know it.
Okay, man.
That's what you do. That's what you do when you're on Mount Rushmore, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All right, TA.
Okay.
Hey, folks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Everyone in the chat, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to us talk. It's very humbling to see all you individuals taking time out of your life to listen to us talk. Without you guys, we are nothing, man. We are all one pride. We're in this thing together. We're going to take out the mainstream media, and we're going to do it in the correct, factual, and positive way. I truly, truly appreciate that. If you have not subscribed to the rest of the DSA members on this roundtable and or who are not, do so. And of course, if you have not subscribed to Micro Mike, you need to do so because he is #a cool guy.
We got CA3 Sports Talk in the building. What's up, man?
What up, though, CA3?
But it's so many Lions games, man, that you can point to. I still remember that Justin Forsett game. But like it's just so many Lions games that you can point to. But what was the player that was talking about Matt Patricia that we were talking about earlier? And he was like, he'll run through a wall for Matt Patricia.
Marquise Flowers.
Toilet.
Hey, man, I want all of our players, even on the offensive side of the ball, to have that kind of mentality. Because it's like it don't matter what Matt Patricia does, good or bad. He's loved by the football community, and that's why I think we the refs were. I couldn't even notice it with the refs. Sometimes we would get calls and they wouldn't call penalties on us, and I'd be like, "What?" And I think it's gonna continue. And I just love what he's doing, and it's just building a culture, man. It got to be something deeper than what's on the surface. Marty Mourner with coin flip, 4 plays later lost. Yeah.
Hey,
It's a lot of things, man.
Troxel.
Oh, Dan Orlovsky in the end zone on 16. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Troxel. What do you got to say to the subscribers as we're ending the show right now? What's your last words you want to give to them?
Yeah, because Mike sound half asleep right now.
Hey man, listen, when you got to get up early, you got to get up early, man. I don't even want to tell you the time I got to be up. It's rough out here in these streets.
Well, I definitely want to say, if you guys want to talk about basketball, come join us on Detroit Drew's channel. It's on 8 o'clock for Piston Center Court, and we are all one pride, Detroit basketball, and all things Detroit. You know, we were under attack, but we are all one family.
Mm-hmm.
Have a great night, family.
Support.
Hey, Mount Rushmore Noble Sports. What do you got to say to the fans, man?
Mount Rushmore Noble Sports has already left the building. Yeah, Mike real sleepy, man.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, man. 313, the great one. What do you got to say, man?
I gotta say this was a really great show, guys. Man, we had a lot of good combos. Shout out to my boy Kerryon Johnson. Shout out to my boy Marvin Jones. I'm gonna be shouting them out the whole season, bro. Kerryon and Marvin, bro, y'all did some special things that I didn't expect, man. Like, and DSA, man, we stronger than ever, man. And this feels good to, I know the all of the July 4th stuff, so we had to take a little mini hiatus, but it's been good to get back and talk to the people, man, to talk to you guys, because training camp is about to start, and what is the 9th? So it's about to start in like the 18th. The week.
18th, the rookies show up, and the 24th, the vets show up.
So about like 9-10 days, 9 days, the rookies are gonna show up, and that's gonna be amazing, man. And shout out to Glover Quinn. Thanks for everything you've done. And shout out to everybody in the chat. And like Trav said, if you want to hear me and Detroit Drew and Trav and Nomis and CA3 Sports Talk debate about Russell Westbrook and should we get him or not, you definitely don't want to miss that. So you definitely don't want to miss that, man. Right? Because that's gonna be great, man. And I'm just glad that more stories are coming out in defense and in favor of Matt Patricia. And all I'm gonna say is Bob Quinn's been real quiet, and they got me nervous. And all I'm gonna say is when I say that, that means something's gonna happen soon. Because BQ been a little quiet. Mm-hmm. I already know he plotting.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mr. Field General himself, the man that pushes the earth down instead of doing push-ups. Hey,
Mike, man, that dude, you awesome, man. First of all, let me just tell you, people should give a round of applause to Mike, man. He did an amazing job hosting the show today. I appreciate that, man. Secondly, if you came into the show late, please go back to the beginning. You have to hear what Mike said. It is the most amazing thing. I wanted to be known that the DSA is strong and unfazed and unbothered. Don't have any division whatsoever. We are
I'm about to say, somebody echoing.
Somebody's phone is not muted.
Yeah, because I can hear everything Luke said. Is that? I think T8. Wait, is T8? I still see.
It looks like T8.
Man, I heard the toilet flush.
Like, I'm like, what is going on, bro?
Hey, you may have to mute that though. You may have to mute him. Just mute him.
Yeah. What Luke said. Make sure you go to the beginning and hear what Mike said.
Go ahead. Go back to the beginning and hear what Mike said, because the DSA could not have been stronger. Even in the failed attempts to divide and conquer, it was the most accurate statement that could have been made. And when you have that type of extension with people, hands down, DSA is going to continue to rise up. And with that being said, people, I leave you with this great piece of advice as always. Don't be no chump. Please do your research.
Adios.